So this came here as a seized engine, and we think it hasn't run since 1987. It may have ran once since then, but bottom line is it was last on the road 87. It was a seized engine. We've now got it rotating on the key. And that little doodad there, that's telling us if it's giving a spark. And then obviously we've got a couple of lights starting to come back on. Sounds like it's down on compression, and it probably is, given the fact it's a seized engine. It's not really anything to worry about yet. Hopefully when it's ran for a bit, it'll come back, but we've still got the fuel system to do. And we'll take it from there. Well, this is my Triumph Dolomite. She's a 1976 model. It's 1500 HL spec. Parked up 1988 with just over 50,000 miles on the clock. Backed up with a full MOT history from 3 years old. It was parked up, I think, because it had sustained some damage to the passenger side door, which you can just see there. And at the age of the car, it wasn't considered worth fixing. So it was parked up in a garage, and it remained there till about the year 2000, when it was moved outside into the yard, where it remained for the next 22 years undercover. When the car was 18 months old, it was involved in a accident which smashed in the rear end of the car. The car was sold and bought by the previous owner, who then set about rebuilding the car on a new body shell. These panels here, the light pale yellow panels, not the boot lid there, these were the panels from that original shell, and these remained in a loft for the next 40 odd years, and have been preserved quite well, and these will be reused when the car is rebuilt. I did attempt to do a video of this car for a YouTube video, but for one reason or another, it's never happened. I just have never got round to editing this video and putting it all together to show the car as it was. So I will explain what I've done, but first I will show the video of me getting this engine running, which when the vehicle come here, the engine had seized because it had not run for 30 odd years, but with a bit of gentle persuasion, using diesel and 2-stroke oil, I've managed to get this to fire into life, and what a sweet engine it was. It was unbelievable, really, but I'll let you be the judge for that. There's one or two bits on YouTube that feature these cars in reviews and such things, and there's a couple of light restorations that I've stumbled across. There's nothing really showing the car in great detail, such as we see here, which is something that I wanted to see, really, to see how these things are put together. But so what we're looking at here is a car that was never ever bodged in any sense. The only thing it did have done was weld into the near side chassis leg. All these have been replaced. Both the front footwells and chassis leg on both sides have been replaced with parts sourced through the Triumph Dolomite club. These are some of the parts here. We've got the inner reinforcer for the sills. We've got the outer sills. We've got the rings that hold the headlights in place. We've got the outer front valance repair section, and also buried under there are the rear outer wings. The boot floor come from Rimmers, and obviously, as you can see, that has gone. The inner wheel arch has gone, but all that can be cut out and replaced when I move on to this section. The front side of the inner wheel arch has gone, which will be the next part of the task. But generally speaking, the inner sill isn't too bad. Obviously, the outer sill had completely gone, which I've already started cutting that off, and it revealed an okay, not that bit, an okay inner sill, but there are one or two sections that have gone, so I'm going to, I think, replace all of that, and then it's all done then. So there's one or two old bits still on here, an old brake line and part of the handbrake cable and the bearing for the prop shaft. But on the front end, you can see here the frame that I made to support the frame of the car whilst I was cutting the chassis legs out, so I could put them in place and make sure it had all gone back in the right place. I also replaced the entire front valance from a donor car, and I put a new old stock inner wing on. Again, this frame here was all part of lining that up, and I used this section here to fit between the spring mounts to make sure that everything was going back in the right place. There was also this section here, which I made myself. Still wants a bit of finishing off. There's a lot of finishing off to do on this car. I'm not saying it's finished by any stretch of the imagination, but I replaced the gutter section there and formed all this and formed all that myself, and that's pretty much ready now to be completed. But so as you can see, it is getting there slowly, but there's a lot still to do, so I'd better crack on with it, I suppose. That's the original front valance. Ended up cutting it into two pieces to get it off, but as you can see, it's rotten here, there and everywhere. I've got a new fiberglass front end for this, But as you can see, the backing structure has rotted through as well, so it wasn't really worth trying to do anything with it, I didn't think. This one had gone there. I tried my best to try and save that, but didn't work out that great. But I ended up putting bits in there as well. These panels from the club really could do with being that little bit longer. But you have to work with what you've got. Just looking at the back of the car quickly. There's obviously work to do around where the boot lid would sit. This section here on that side has rotted through, and I was unsure of how to do that and how to repair it, and then I found a new old stock rear windscreen panel, and I can very easily cut that off of there and use that bottom section. But while I'm here, it's worth also mentioning the frame here, which has been put in place to support the back end of the car whilst the jig is in place. But, and it appears to be holding it quite nicely. So that's about it for now. I'm going to crack on a bit and hopefully update with some more progress as and when I've got it. But, hopefully it should be a nice car when it's back together. So I had a couple of hours on this today. That's the step sill, the bit that you see on the bottom. That's the inner spacer. There's a name for that, I can't quite remember what it is. And this is the rear inner wheel arch. And on the floor is 1,000 little pieces of twisted and bent steel, like that bit there. And it's basically been a day of drilling out all the welds and then attacking it with a hammer and chisel. I had to take a bit more of this out because it was all rotten anyway, so I'll have to make a piece to go in there. That's it from the back. Obviously I've put the new piece in just loosely for now, just to see how it fitted. Fits quite well. Quite happy with that. There's a bit more to do before it gets welded. I really need to find this step sill. I don't know if I can make it or whether it's something that I can order on its own, because I already have the outer sills, which are there. Originally, all of this would have been one pressing, whereas now half of it's there and half of it's in the scrap bin somewhere. I don't know where the other bit is. I can't see it. Oh, no, that's the bumper. So, yeah, nice steady day of drilling, grinding, chopping, and all sorts of different weird and wonderful tasks. So, we'll see what next weekend brings.